Hey everyone, welcome to Scrapbook.com. Today I'm here from Hedgehog Hollow with LDRS to give you a way to use your new LDRS releases that you may have seen in the previous video in a few different ways. So in this first video we're going to be working with the new Plaid stencil and my Distress Oxides. I'm going to show you how to create somewhat of an ombre style background. So I picked out a variety of oxides. Some are the newest release, some are older ones. And what I did is on a scrap piece of paper, I just kind of tried them out into the order that I wanted them to be. And so this is my shades from left to right of how I'm going to blend my background. So to do that, I'm going to grab a piece of masking tape. This is nothing special, it's just regular purple masking tape that I buy online. And I know I'm going to end up cutting off a little bit of this top piece. So I'm very kind of gingerly just going to tape that down, just so my cardstock doesn't move. Then we're going to tape down our plaid. And so I'm going to pop this over the top, and I'm going to add on another piece of masking tape. And I'm going to use the bottom of my cardstock to make sure that I have plaid from top to bottom. And I'm working on my Tim Holtz glass mat, so I don't have to worry about getting it over the edges or worrying about clear up in any way. I'm using some of the Ranger Distress Stamping cardstock because it gives you a really nice blend. And I've gone with using my Nuvo stencil brushes. These are one of my favorite tools. And so this may be showing you as blue. I've just given these a rinse out, and then you can add another color to them, but they will probably retain a little bit of that first color you go for. So when you're creating an ombre background, first thing I like to do is start in the middle. So I'm going to go from just across that middle stripe. I'm just picking up ink. And the great thing about using a plaid, of course, is that you can see where your middle stripe is. So this is the Fossilized Amber, and I'll pop the lids back on so you can see what I'm working with. Then I'm going to work with my Spice Marmalade and my Wild Honey. So again, I'm going to pick up some ink. And the great thing about working with brushes is they're much better, in my opinion, of getting into those small holes. Plus, of course, you can kind of do that stippling technique if you find that you're not getting your ink in there. And they also don't give you any harsh edges. So you can really control the amount of ink that you get on there. And then I'm going over that middle blend of the edge of that Fossilized Amber. And then without adding any ink, I just fade it out. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side with my Wild Honey, and I'm just trying to keep my brushes close to the correct pad so that I don't contaminate colours on there. And so I'm going to do the same with the Wild Honey. And you could play around with whatever colours you'd like. You could do shades of green. I wanted this to be a kind of really fall-y themed piece, and I'm going to go super quick and simple to show you how you can do this at home. So again, I'm fading in and fading out at the other end, and then I'm going in on one end with my mustard seed, blend and go to the edge, and then again the carved pumpkin. And you could decide to do Distress Oxides, Distress ink, any water-based ink or hybrid ink that you're comfortable in blending. I recommend using something you're used to working with. And if you can mix brushes apart from between Distress inks and Distress Oxides. I wouldn't recommend mixing your brushes between those two. And then the great way of this system is I can just kind of do a little peek to make sure that I have it there. And you can see here how it goes from some darker oranges kind of into those olivey yellows, and it has a beautiful full look to it. And so I'm going to peel this piece off. And again, my clear up is really simple. All I use are baby wipes. These happen to be toddler wipes, that's what we had. But any kind of, what you could use your stamp chamois, anything just to give it a quick wipe down. And you can see how easy is that to clear up. That's why I love working on this glass mat. If you want any of the links to anything I'm using, check out the description below and you'll find all the links to everything in there. I just make sure it's dry before I put my cardstock down onto it. So first of all, I'm going to trim. So I'm going to trim this stamping piece. Of course, I'm going to trim off this piece where the tape was. And this layer wants to be 5 inches long. And so I'm going to cut off a little bit from either end so that my blending is still in the middle there. So I'm going to cut around about 1/4 of an inch off each side. And then again, this one is going to be 3 3/4 wide. So I'm cutting a little bit off of each side, like this. So that still keeps that nice ombre kind of fade in the middle there. So I'm cutting it off evenly. I'm also going to trim down a piece of black cardstock. And that's going to be 4 inches wide by 5 1/4. And this is the Tim Holtz trimmer that I'm working with from Tonic. So again, you can check out all those links in the description below. And then card base here. This is a Neenah Solar White card base. Scrapbook.com actually sells them pre-cut and pre-scored. They happen to open in the other direction, but you'll end up with exactly the same size card. And A, I love the Neenah cardstock, and B, I do love the fact that they come pre-cut and pre-scored, because I did not score this one at all. So let's start layering up. I'm going to use my Scrapbook.com tape runner. I'm going to go all the way around. And anytime I mat onto my card and make sure it's open, you're going to get a much more even mat because your cardstock is going to lay flat. And so I'm going to lay that on. And then the same with our plaid piece. I'm actually going to start with that in the bottom left. And now I'm going to choose a sentiment. So there's a couple of different sentiment sets in the new release. There's a Happy Fall sentiments, and then there's the Magic of Fall. So you have lots and lots of different options, but I'm going to cut it out using the Scrapbook.com nested tags just for a bit different. And I love the fact that you could make lots of these sentiments into things like mason jar tags and things like that. So I'm going to go with this, May the bounty of the season fill your heart and home. And so I'm going to open this one up. And these are photopolymer stamps. So you're going to get a lovely even stamp, nice and crisp. And I'm going to stamp on just some regular stamping cardstock. So this is just Neenah white stamping cardstock. Again, you can get these pre-cut card front pieces from Scrapbook.com, and I'm going to leave myself a little bit of space to cut that tag out. And of course, the beauty of using a MISTI or any tool like that is that you can keep going back as many times as you need to. I'm going to stamp out in some Wild Honey. So just tie all those colours together. So I can lift. I'm just going to fill in that middle area as well again. And so now we can cut out our tag. So we can layer our tag wherever we want it to be. So I'm just centering that up. I'm going to use the same piece of masking tape we used earlier. And so I'm going to stick that down. And I'm going to run it through my Gemini machine. So once you've cut out your tag, you will then be able to just pop that out. And so the tags from Scrapbook.com have lots of sizes, so you could map this onto a piece of cardstock. There's also a hole that you could add on here, but what I'm going to do is take a little bit of the Fossilized amber, I think. I'm going to grab one of my brushes, and I'm just going to And this is the great thing about the brush. So rather than using that flicking technique that many of us have used for so long, the brushes allow you to add in as much or as little colour. It gives you a lot of control, and you can kind of make it look really vintagey. And of course I can fade it out around my sentiment. And I just add a little light dusting over the sentiment just so it's not on stark white. And that also picks up all of those embossed details that are on that tag as well. So you can see where it's kind of picked up that inner line on there. And I'm going to use a little bit of foam to just pop this up onto my card. And again, you can play around with however you want it. I think I'm going to pop mine just down here, and I'm going to pop it in line with the Plaid. So I'm just going to use these foam squares from Tonic. And I like to use 2 of these just to kind of add some extra depth. If you're putting it through the mail, you may only want to use 1. But they're a nice size for working on larger tags. And actually I'm just going to split this one in half. You can, with your non-stick Tonic scissors, really easily just snip them apart. And so you can create whatever size you need. So then I can peel that backing layer off. And as I mentioned, I'm going to make sure that this is in line with that area. So that is a really super quick and simple 10-minute card. And you can see there we played with that new Plaid, we played with the new sentiments. I've shown you some tips with your Tonic Studio stencil brushes and your Distress Oxides, and also some stamping on there as well. So super quick and simple. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to check out the Hedgehog Hollow as well for more LDRS inspiration, and of course lots of other stamping tips too. And also check out Scrapbook.com's YouTube channel where you are right now, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get notifications of Scrapbook.com's other inspirational videos and all of their media coverage from stamping events too. We'll see you again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!